Hello, my friends, and welcome to Words of Wisdom Wednesday. I am Kathy Weaver, and I'm part of the fan club for the Fun Fearless Female Global Community of Christian Women with Delinda Lane. I wanted to ask today who, what, where, when, why, how. We've heard that before on different topics, different categories, different strategies. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. So what happens if you encounter a hurdle or a challenge? Who do you go to help you solve that? What do you use for tools to get that problem taken care of? Where do you go perhaps on the internet? When do you give up trying to solve it yourself? Why did you not contact a business professional, a business partner at the beginning? And how do you think you're actually going to be able to accomplish whatever you just learned? So again, who, what, where, when, why, how is a perfect thing for us to think about as far as strategy. Do you know how to change a flat tire? Where would you go to find the information? Who would you call? What would you need as far as tools and supplies? Why did you get the flat in the first place? As in road hazard, or was the tire defective? And how will you accomplish your next goal? As far as not having this happen again? Will the car be towed? Will the tire repair person come to you? How will this accomplishment happen? So please consider that with social media as well. Do you know how to do everything on LinkedIn? Do you know how to do everything on Facebook? Do you know how to do everything on Alignable? Do you know how to do everything on Eventbrite? Do you know how to do everything on Instagram? Do you know how to do everything on Twitter? Do you even know how to do everything on YouTube? If you don't know yet, we're all hopefully in the learning curve, in the learning mode. What happens when we stop learning? We stop growing, and that is probably not a good fit for many of us. What would have happened if we stopped growing 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago? Perhaps we wouldn't have the current business that we're in. What would have happened if we stopped growing 2 or 3 years ago? We wouldn't be as savvy as perhaps we are now on Zoom and other social media platforms, StreamYard, YouTube Live, LinkedIn Live, a lot of the different video platforms that many of us use now on a daily basis. So who, what, where, when, why, how might keep in mind the pieces that we will need, the tools that we will need when we're actually trying to solve a challenge or a hurdle. I'm always curious with people when they finally give up. And I always tease, by the time they call me, they get to the W's. I know they must be kind of desperate to get the answer to whatever it is they're looking for. Oh, I see you called Kathy Weaver. Therefore, you must have exhausted A through XYZ all the way to the end. And now you get to the W's and go, I'll call her. So how does that look? You get all the way down to W because you now want to find the answer to something. No one else was able to help you. No one else answered their phone. What does that look like? So please consider, when you have a challenge or a hurdle, who do you call? What do you ask? When do you actually make that decision to call someone else? Why did you call them in the first place? Oh my goodness, you think of all these different things. And then you think of how will that person's knowledge and expertise actually help me? So please consider having a plan of action. There are hurdles every single day. How do I this? Where do I this? What's my something? What's a plan? What's a goal? We're getting closer and closer to the fourth quarter, Q4, as they call it, for 2022. Do you have a plan in mind? So who, what, where, when, why, how will you accomplish the goals that you have? And who will be part of that goal? What will they help you with? When will you call them? Where will you meet them? Why didn't you call them in the first place? And how will you accomplish the goals that you've written down? Please tell me that you've written them down. So let's think about that. We've got a lot of W's today. Words of Wisdom Wednesday, who, what, where, when, why, how. We've got lots of W's to think about today. So please consider your plan of action. Please consider that you know what your next step will be. Please consider that we won't always DIY it. We can do a lot of things ourselves. Sometimes we need collaboration. How do I this? How do I that? How do I something else? Sometimes someone else has that perfect answer that might get you through it. I'm Kathy Weaver. I love being part of Words of Wisdom Wednesday. And as I mentioned earlier, I am part of the fan club with Delinda Lane and the Fun Fearless Female global community of Christian women. And I always love Words of Wisdom Wednesdays. Put any comments, questions, anything that you have in the comment section right underneath this video on the Fun Fearless Female page so that we can actually not only get engagement going, but I'm happy to help you, or at least I can find a resource that might be exactly what you've been looking for. Bye for now.